Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute?
Hey girlfriends, welcome back to the Hey Girlfriend podcast. I'm your host, Kindall D. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about you overstaying with that man. You know who you are. I've been that girl too, literally. But I'm realizing that that's where the most hurt and pain and traumatizing experience comes from. It's when you are overstaying with someone past the time frame that you know you should have left a long time ago. And when you're sticking around with someone that is not treating you right and you're slowly losing yourself, that is the most traumatizing. It's when you stay with a man simply because you love him so much, meaning that you love him and you want to be with him, even though he isn't loving you the way you deserve. So you're sticking around because you love him so much. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, he should be loving me just as, loving me that much. He should be. You're thinking to yourself, like, I'm here giving all my love, proving myself, proving my loyalty, proving I can be trusted. I'm doing all these things for him, trying to be a good woman for him, and then he doesn't love me. So in your mind, you're thinking he should be, instead of you realizing that he is not. So you're overstaying. You're staying, hoping that he will see that you're a good woman, that he should be doing right. You're hoping that he will change. Overstaying. And so that's why I say it's not worth it for you to stay with him just because you love him so much. Okay, well, how is he loving you? It's not okay to stay with him if you really like just the chemistry. Meaning that when you two are together, it can be so good sometimes. You laugh like the best of friends. Maybe the sex is good. Maybe you just like being around them. You have fun sometimes when you are around them and you have a great chemistry. But there's a dark side of that. And that when it's bad, it's bad. It may be good when it's good, but when it's bad, it's very bad. And you're finding yourself losing yourself in the roller coaster of emotions that he is putting you through. And so that right there, that up and down, and that, well, he's good in this part and good in this area, but maybe not good in the areas that really matter, you're overstaying. And so when you stay in these situations, it's almost like you are living in a fantasy. And it hurts the worst when you come out of that family, when whatever happens, either you break up with him or he finally breaks up with you, or it just finally just is over, whatever the reason may be. It's like you're now trying to deal with reality. It's like a cognitive dissonance, I would say. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically where like you are getting hit with something that you weren't really aware of while you were with him. And it's like when you were with him, it was like almost like you were in a like this bubble with him only. And your mind was on maybe the fantasy, what you wanted to happen, how you wanted things to go. And then when you finally get out of it, it's like, what just happened? Or you're confused because it's like you're trying to deal with the reality of things now, that you two didn't work out like you really hoped it was. Like your dreams really did not come true. And that's the hurting part, because now you're trying to not only get back to reality and understand why it couldn't work and heal and process the actual breakup, you're now trying to heal yourself as well, because it's like you started thinking to yourself like, okay, well, what was going on with me for me to be in this for so long, for me to overstay with him like this? And so it's just a lot. But I promise you that every relationship you get into, you won't have to heal like that. Like a lot of people say that they're scared to love again after a situation like that, a relationship like that. And I think to myself, like, you do know that not every relationship you get in will be like that. You do know you don't have to go through this year of healing after someone broke your heart or after the relationship ended. That won't have to happen in each and every relationship. And the reason being is because you have to learn to not overstay. You have to learn to not stay past the time frame of when you realize that this is not it. This is not going to work. And you can't lie to yourself. You can't live in this fantasy. And you can't base it just off of chemistry or just off of how much you love him or based off of just how much you all get along sometimes or how he treats you sometimes. You can't do that. You can't stay because of that. That leads to you overstaying. You have to realize that it's most important how good he treats you. That's when you stay. You stay when someone is consistently treating you well, when they have demonstrated consistency, when they have demonstrated respect for you, when they have demonstrated that they're ready to love you, when they have demonstrated that they want to love you, when you just feel safe with them. That's when you stay. But you can't stay hoping for the best when someone is not even treating you well. You can't stay hoping that things are going to change. You can't stay based off of that. Because what's the real reason? Like, why? Why would you want to stay through that? And it's not a judgmental question. It's a question that I want you to ask yourself, because I was that girl. And I think back to, like, why did I stay? And for one, I was love bombed in the beginning. And I was hoping that I can get back to that. And he made me fall for him emotionally very quickly. So I knew that. And for me, and the lesson from that I learned was that don't fall for the love bombing. Don't attach too soon in the beginning. You don't know this man. I don't care how much he says he wants you and he likes you and you are all that and how he is gassing you up and all of that. That he don't know you. So why is he doing all of that? It's not, to me, it's not very transparent. If I feel like, after those relationships, I feel like men that do that are trying to hide something. They're moving fast for a reason. They're trying to get me emotionally attached. They're thinking they're telling me what I want to hear. I grew up from that. And so I learned from that to not fall for that in the beginning. That's the first step to not overstaying. Not falling for or not attaching too quickly in the beginning when it's all roses and he's probably selling you some kind of dream of love bombing you. Don't fall for that. It's not true. It's not reality. It's fantasy. So that right there alone helped me to not even get into a point to where I am prematurely attaching, which will cause me to overstay. Because you get in this mode really quickly with someone that is like love bombing you and just telling you everything you want to hear, and don't let you be attracted to them. It's gonna suck you in. And then you're gonna find yourself falling into that fantasy, and then you're gonna just do whatever it takes to stay with the person because you've fallen for that surface level. And then once you get in deep and you see the real them and you see the true colors come out, you already are so super attached. So it's hard for you to detach. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just try to make it work. Or maybe I'll just stick it out. Overstaying. And another thing that I realized is that it is important for me to be treated well. I cannot tolerate a man mistreating me again. I told myself that. So that alone lets me know that, okay, any relationship I get into, it's going to be a good one because I'm not tolerating anything else. And so I know there won't be a reason for me to get to that point to where I'm overstaying because everything's great. So why would I not stay here? So that became something that I really just wanted. And I remember praying for that, saying that I just want a man that's going to treat me right. Like, he has to treat me right. And I'm not selling for nothing else. Like, all that sweet talking stuff is not real. I want him to treat me right. I was adamant about that and became adamant about that. And so you may be thinking to yourself, okay, so, well, what if I get in a relationship with a good guy? Everything is great. And then he breaks my heart because he suddenly does something to me. That's a possibility. That is. And it's a possibility that it's a possibility that I'm fully aware of. I'll put it that way. And it's okay for you to be fully aware that anybody can hurt you. But the thing is that if it's from someone that doesn't have a pattern of hurting me and then they do it all of a sudden, then I know how to make a sound decision for myself. I'm not going to overstay in something that I realize that, okay, you've hurt me, you've changed, this is not for me, and I'm leaving. You know, you got to know when to pick up and leave when those patterns start kicking in, and you've overstayed, and you've not overstayed, but you are making excuses for it, you know? And so, for me, if that ever happens, if an event that ever happened, I know that since the majority of the relationship was good, everything was good until it wasn't. Like, it could be 3 years in, 4 years in, 6, 7, 8. You know, I'm just thinking hypothetically. Because right now everything's great. We've been almost together 10 years. I think I counted the other day. It was almost 10 years with my husband. And I'm like, dang, I didn't realize we was together that long. But yeah, I've I've made a vow to myself that in the event that did happen, I'm not gonna regret the relationship because I was not overstaying. I was staying in something that was good the entire time. And I benefited from it. And it was good until it wasn't. And then, you know, I had to leave and do what I had to do if in the event that does happen. But I know that I can't be hurt again to the point to where I've lost myself because I've overstayed. It would be to where, dang, I hate that he betrayed me like that. It won't be a hit on my self-esteem, on my self-love, on me, period. It would be more so like, damn, you crazy for doing that to me, to us. And then I have to do what I have to do. If I feel like it's something that can't be worked out and it's just too bad, then I'm not overstaying. Because it's like, and I'm not regretting that I was with them. And that's something I want you all to realize is that, yeah, there is a possibility that anyone can hurt you. But I promise you feel a different type of security when you're with someone that's actually treating you well. And you're in a healthy connection with them, a healthy space, and things are going well. Yes, there is a chance that they could betray you. It's a chance that you can be betrayed by that man. It is. But it's not something that you will... It's not something that will directly hit you. I put it that way. You'll have to heal from the betrayal, not from you losing yourself. So, you got to stop overstaying. You got to build them standards up. And you got to build, if you don't have boundaries, build those up too. You got to build you up. And dare I say it, not be desperate for love. Or not be desperate to I guess, trauma bond with someone. And when I say that, I mean, it's like sometimes we feel so down and out about ourselves that we feel like that having a man can just make everything feel much better. That having someone validate me, just having someone in my life, just having a connection with someone can make everything better. But you can't look at it that way. That will put you in a desperate state. Because it's like you're needing them. You're needing a man now. That means you're going to almost settle for anything just to get just a piece of what you want. A piece of that thing that you're desperate for. And then you find yourself overstaying once again with that man. And you don't want that for yourself. So another big thing for me was really healing how I feel about myself. Really realizing that I would rather be to myself than in the wrong relationship. And I didn't heal everything overnight, like from leaving my exes. I had 2 toxic relationships back to back in my 20s. And I will say this, I did not heal everything right after that. The main thing that I changed were my standards. I upped my standards and then dated. That was the main thing. And another thing is that I became okay with not having someone and not just jumping into any relationship. I became okay with being alone. Those were the main 2 things. Like, I didn't heal all these deep childhood wounds and trauma and all these things that I talk about all in the time span of me leaving my ex and then going to my husband. I worked on this even in the beginning of my relationship with my husband. Even sometimes now, I'm still recalling things and bringing up lessons that I could maybe help someone else with that I maybe had not known exactly then, but I know now. So don't expect yourself to just all of a sudden, bam, come out of a bad relationship and you heal all of this. The main thing you need is just to up your standards. Just know that you're not about to overstay with a man again simply because you love him so much, even though he's not loving you, or simply because you just want someone, or simply because you love the chemistry. You're not overstaying and not jumping into something just like that. Have that standard for you. Raise your standards about what you deserve and what you want in a relationship. And once you have that set, and you still do the other work in, some of the other work in the background about some childhood trauma that slowly comes up and you slowly start to realize it. Because even in a healthy relationship, even in a good relationship, when you finally get with a good man, you're still going to have some healing to do. Like, I feel like me and my husband, we still sometimes have like things that we are healing from our past and our childhood and things like that. It's nothing bad and it's not difficult and it's not even I guess I would say it's not hard to do. It's just something that we both realize within ourselves and we have discussions about and talk about. And it's like a piece of me heals probably every day. Every day. And it's not bad to where it's like you're in a constant state of healing. It's just you're more self-aware. And so you're more prepared you're more prepared to deal with things that come up. And so I got off track a little bit. But what I'm basically saying is that those are the things you need so that you don't overstay again. I'm telling you, your next relationship will not have to be so bad. You don't have to be so scared of falling again. As long as you don't overstay, you got to know when to get in and when to get out. Both are equally important. Meaning you got to know when to get in, know when it's actually safe for you to securely attached to them, knowing it's safe to be in a relationship with them. You can't be all caught up in his looks or caught up in how he makes you feel. You got to get caught up in how good he is treating you, how he's willing to treat you, his consistency. You got to get caught up in his transparency. Those things, the real things, okay? You got to get caught up in the real shit. The shit that you can actually securely attach to and feel safe with. Not that surface level shit. So, yeah. So you won't overstay. Okay? You got to get really real with what it is that makes a real relationship and let go of all this vain shit that doesn't matter. I'm not saying, and I want to make it clear, I'm not saying get with someone you're not attracted to. By all means, no. Even though Shiver 7, if you know the sprinkle lady, I think she said that looks don't matter or something. She said looks don't matter as long as he treated me right. Or something like that she said. That's her. And I think she's gotten to a point where she wants to be well taken care of and that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should want to be well taken care of. But I will say it is important that you are also attracted to him. And I will also go in to say is that based off how well he treats you, you may become even more attracted to him. At least the older me, the more mature me did. I'm not saying by a long shot that I'm not attracted to my husband. What I'm saying is that he wasn't the typical guys that I went for. The guys that just struck me right away with the looks off top. And I was, overly excited just because of their looks or their height. Something like that. With him, I looked at him and I was like, okay, he's not bad. He's cute. Okay, I can get to know him. It was like that. Like a calmer feeling. And I will put it this way. I was attracted to him enough to want to get to know him. I put it that way. And what made me even more attracted, what made me even more falling in love with him was how well and good he treated me. I'm telling you, that's how you're supposed to fall. You're not supposed to fall just right off the first date. You're not supposed to be head over heels and super excited for this man. I promise you, if you're super excited for this man, he ain't the one. He gonna break your heart. And you gonna overstay. You gonna hurt yourself. I promise you he ain't it. You're supposed to slowly fall. So I slowly got to know him and slowly started to fall for him. And it was because of the consistency that I allowed to happen, that I allowed him to show me. So it was over time. And when I say over time, I mean over a span of like a month. Because after a month, we were in a relationship. He asked me to be his girlfriend. And so, yeah. I would never overstay in this. If he, like I said before, if he were to like ever hurt me, then I know what I got to do. It wouldn't be a regret that, dang, I shouldn't have been with him all them years. No, it's going to be like, dang, those were some good years. Oh, well, sorry at the end now. That's the main thing you want to look for or look out for. You don't want to look back and feel all this regret and feel bad for yourself and feel sorry for yourself. And then you got to go into all this healing because you overstayed and did too much, took too much, accepted too much pain. It's going to hurt you every time and you overstay. So, I want you to make a vow to yourself that if you are one in a relationship past its expiration date and you know it ain't leading anywhere, slowly prepare your mind to leave. You notice I didn't say just, oh, it's time to go. Because I know it takes time. And I know it's not something that can just happen overnight. But slowly prepare your mind to leave. And what I mean by that is that you're slowly coming back to reality while you're within the relationship. That's what I did with my last ex. Is that towards the end, I told myself, you know what? It's a 50-50 chance of this working out. I may be leaving without him. We may not be together. I started coming to the reality of things. And I came out of the fantasy that I had while I was with him. And so it wasn't long to afterwards. It just fell apart. It was still hurtful. But I can say, I feel like it didn't take me that long to heal from that breakup because I've already set myself up and prepared myself to leave and to realize that it was a chance that it could not work out. You know? So prepare yourself to leave. And then know that you won't do that shit to yourself ever again. Because you know how painful it can be. You know it doesn't lead to anywhere. It's most important to be with a man that treats you well. That treats you good. Remember that. Don't overstay. It's not worth it. So, that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. As always, you can check me out on I'veBeenThatGirl.net. Check me out for my books, my coaching. All of that is on I'veBeenThatGirl.net. Links for my books. Links also for my coaching. Yeah, find me there. And my Facebook page, it got deleted. Yeah, I had 71,000 followers. And I would love it if you're on Facebook to give me a follow. My name on there is Kindall D, like it is. You see with this podcast, it's Kindall D. And yeah, on Facebook. And it's like at 30 something followers. I'm trying to build it up, y'all. Facebook unpublished my shit. So if you will, please give me a follow on Facebook. Is there anything else? Nope, that's all I got. So until next time, girlfriends, peace out.